And right out the gate today, going to talk about our appreciation party, which we've got set up for June 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. at Benchmark International Arena. Last week on the show, I kept calling it Amalie. I got to break the habit. It is Benchmark at the Bench, formerly Amalie Arena, 2 to 5 p.m., June 13th. RSVP, get your free tickets at DuncanDuoParty.com. Want to invite your whole family. If you're listening to the show, you're invited. We bring out all of our clients, friends, fans, listeners every year to the arena for a cool event. We mixed it up. We changed it up a little bit this year. This year, we are not going to be on the ice. The Lightning lost. The ice didn't get to stay out long enough, but we've got some street hockey set up. We've got locker room tours, VIP locker room tours that we're going to be doing, as well as Thunderbug and a lot of other cool prizes and giveaways, as well as the same stuff we have every year: Lightning face painting, signed items, t-shirts, giveaways, free food, family-friendly event. Again, 2 to 5 p.m. on June 13th. RSVP at DuncanDuoParty.com. Again, that's DuncanDuoParty.com. You can also send us a message on any of our social channels at The Duncan Duo for an exclusive invite. I think the coolest thing is going to be the locker room tours and the behind-the-scenes tours that our clients get to go on this year. You know, concerts that happen there, events that happen there, some things behind the scenes, some stories. All of those things are things that we're providing for our clients this year. So again, you can get your free tickets at DuncanDuoParty.com, and your whole family is invited. So breaking news this week about property taxes in Florida. Governor DeSantis has rolled out his proposal that is going to be hitting the legislature. And it's an interesting one because there's a lot of people that approve of this, and there's some that are a little bit concerned, but it is a save our homes from excessive property taxes. He outlined it in Tampa this week, and the plan is to eliminate taxes on homestead property. Property tax revenue collected by local governments nearly doubled in the past 7 years, and Florida homeowners need relief. There's no question that Florida homeowners need relief. I'm excited about this. I think that is the major driver right now for a little bit of uptick in our real estate market. My team, for example, is having an incredible May, best May in several years. And I believe that people that are thinking about moving here are starting to move in anticipation of getting the benefit of this before it passes. The second thing I would say is that it will improve values, because naturally, when you reduce the monthly costs of things, it causes people to push in more. It creates more buyers. It reduces costs. It improves affordability. So if property taxes reduce for the average homeowner, more people have the ability to buy. It also lowers payments to comparable numbers to what they were back during COVID when we had the big boom. So if we can't get lower rates, or as lower rates as we want, but we get property tax relief, that could have a more substantial impact on your payment than interest rates. So it's the payment that people buy on. It really is. It's the payment. So a few things that I want to outline from this, and this is not done yet. This is a proposal, okay? Finalized his proposal, and a bipartisan bill is being worked on. It is going to exempt homestead properties from taxation. It begins by exempting the first $250,000 of a homestead's value from taxation and requiring through law schedule for full elimination. The expectation is that it would go from $250,000 and then after a few years to $500,000 and then continue going up until such point that every person that has a homestead, even if it's a $10 million property, will be not paying property taxes, with the exception of still paying the school portion, I believe, of the property taxes. So the schedule for how that will grow from $250,000 to full elimination isn't done yet. That's going to be something that's worked on. It ensures funding for core services. It requires local governments to use remaining property taxes solely for core public needs, infrastructure, natural resources. It protects small business. It limits future property tax assessments on business and creates a more stable tax environment. Ensures fairness for Florida residents, requiring any person who establishes Florida residency after January 1, 2027 to maintain Florida residency for up to 5 years before receiving this. So, interesting thing, it is May of 2026. What do I believe this does? I believe this helps the Florida real estate market have a really strong summer and end of the year because people will want to establish Florida residency before that date so they don't have the 5-year waiting period before they start to get their exemptions. And eventually the idea is to have everyone exempt from property taxes. I like what they're doing with this. When these proposals first came out and they said, oh, we're going to abolish property taxes, I had some hesitation because I thought, okay, well, where is the funding for all of the services that we need going to come from if we just cut property taxes? Well, when they ladder it like they have it set up, and they do have a state trust fund to assist with core local services, they're more or less putting the onus back on governments to get more efficient, to look for ways to cut costs, to negotiate the bids that they're getting. And the state is there with the trust fund to provide grants to governments to assist with the continuation of those services because our state fortunately operates in they have an abundance of extra money. They're not at a deficit in the state of Florida. And I think the key to moving this forward is that latter approach to where over time it kind of cliffs off so that the cities and counties can still continue to provide services. So it's ensuring fairness for people. People that have expensive homes or non-expensive homes, they pay a tax on a property that realistically some of them already paid for. Why are they taxed on that property? It's really the most draconian tax that exists, and I'm excited that Governor DeSantis is doing this. I think it will be very positive for home values in Florida. I think it will improve affordability in the short term. In the long term, I think it's going to cause prices to rise pretty considerably. So if you are a home buyer and you're thinking about buying, you should not wait, okay? Even if you're someone that's already a Florida resident, the after January 1 doesn't necessarily apply to you. This is for people that aren't residents presently. But what happens when interest rates drop, prices rise? The reason that happens is because payments drop. It isn't really the interest rate that matters, it's the payment. So even if interest rates don't drop, but property taxes drop so substantially that payments reflect what they were when we had 4% interest rates, we're going to see prices rise because demand is going to spike. I believe that this being announced is going to move people here before January 1. So if you've been sitting on the sidelines and kind of gridlocked about interest rates, do the math. Think about whether or not you want to get the new property into this proposal to eliminate property taxes. And ultimately, I think it's going to be really positive for our real estate market. We already have so many positive things that are aligning for Tampa Bay. Right now, what I'm seeing in the market, we're certainly seeing the market improve and turn a little bit, but I think we're seeing a lot of it on the top end. I was in Los Angeles this week, drove around, and I think it's pretty clear to me why people are moving to Tampa compared to places like Los Angeles and New York. The homeless populations, the needles on the street, the tent city and Skid Row, the crime, how dirty it is. There's no question that people are leaving that, especially when they're taxed to death. They're paying, massive state income taxes, in some cases city taxes. People are running from that because they don't see the value there, especially high net worth people. So what we're seeing is a lot of activity in our high end. And people might say, well, hey, all the rich people moving here, that really doesn't help the average guy. But the reality is it does, because here's what happens. Those wealthy people that move here and buy $3 and $5 million houses, they're going to move their businesses too. They're going to move their businesses, and then that's going to create transactions for $3 and $4 and $500,000, and it's going to improve values. It's going to improve our real estate market because we've been in a little bit of a lull. Our real estate market has been, we've kind of been around the same price for a long time. The sales haven't dramatically risen. I think this is the start of a turn of that. If the Iran war gets solved and inflation gets curbed a little bit, I think we see the Fed cut rates a little bit this year. We get property tax relief. I really think 2027 is going to be a boom year for Tampa real estate. We have so many things in our favor. We've got a clean city that's well run. We have property tax relief coming. We have population growth. We have winning sports teams. We've got, developments in downtowns that are progressing. We've got a potential move of the Tampa Bay Rays to Tampa. And on top of all that, we've got great weather. And if we, forecasts are speculating that we might not have as bad of a hurricane season, if that holds up, 2027 will be a banner real estate year. And you know what? What I tell people, you don't want to buy when it's the banner year. You want to buy before it. You want to act before it. You want to take advantage of it. It's like knowing a stock is going to rise and being able to buy it. I believe the stock, assuming a clean hurricane season, the stock of Tampa real estate is going to be up substantially in 27. So if you're going to make a move, if you're going to move up, do it now. Because, I hear customers all the time say, well, I need to wait till my house gets to 400. It's at 350. And then I'll go out and buy my 600. Well, the 600 house isn't in a vacuum. It's going to go up too. And if we see appreciation start to uptick, those people that are moving up are losing money by waiting. They say, oh, well, once my 350 house gets to 400, then I'll go out and buy my 600. Well, your 600 isn't 600 anymore. Now it's 700. You lost 50 grand. The money that you're trying to get out of your existing house, if you're moving up to a more expensive house, you're losing if you wait, okay? Especially if we get interest rate cuts and this property tax relief and prices rise, you will have missed the mark to get into the home affordably that you want to get into. And this is especially important if someone who has an established residency before 2027 and they own homes in other areas and they're going to upgrade to a more expensive home. Those people are going to start moving. They're going to want to take advantage of this tax relief. Wealthy people, they look at their balance sheet. They know where their money goes and they know what value they get, and they don't perceive that they get a great value on some of the property tax discussions in other states. If they perceive our state is getting a great value, now that they're going to get over a period of time, it's going to be reduced. They're going to move. They're going to look at opportunities to move. It's going to be financially smart. It's going to free up capital for them to invest more in their businesses. And it's just a natural progression that I think Tampa is going to continue doing great. So